What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the episode of Primetime Sports Podcast, hosted by Joey McLaury. So in today's episode, I'm going to give my reactions to day one of the NFL draft from last night. I'll give some surprise picks. I'll break down my winners of day one, and then I will talk about my best players available heading into day two of the draft, which is tonight, rounds 2 and 3, starting at 7 p.m. So let's start off with my surprise picks from yesterday. I did not see Alvin Reese falling to 5th overall. I don't think the Giants saw him falling there either. I did want Sonny Styles on the Giants defense. Styles is a tackling machine, which this team definitely needs. With that being said, I'm excited to see what Styles will do in Washington. He's going to be a great player at the next level. As for the Reese pick, you can never have too much pass rush help, which the Giants have been addressing the trenches with each of these top 2 picks that they took in this year's draft. It seems like right now Alvin Reese is going to start out playing off the ball for the Giants. He's a very talented linebacker, which playing off the ball for the Giants will help him have a role right away. And considering the defensive talent that the Giants have up front, it's going to be tough for Denard Wilson to try to lock in this summer, planning on how to fit Reese into his defense, along with the other talented players he has up front. With that being said, there is a void at defensive tackle for the Giants. They're going to have to address that in the rest of the draft and potentially in free agency with whoever remains as a free agent, including DJ Reader. The Giants could have drafted Caleb Downs at 10, but they chose to draft Francis Mauigoa to shore up their offensive line issues. He could end up playing right tackle, but it seems like starting at offensive guard to fix their run blocking will be the way things go for the start of his career. I don't mind that pick at all, but I would have liked to take Caleb Downs there. With that being said, you can never fault a team for trying to shore up their offensive line and their defensive line, issues that have been prevalent for the Giants in recent years. Another surprise pick was the Rams taking Alabama quarterback Ty Simpson at 13 overall. That was a major surprise to me. I think the criticism of Ty Simpson, though, has been a little bit too much since I think he has the talent to be a serviceable starter at the next level. I don't think there's much of a gap between him and Fernando Mendoza. To be honest, I think Simpson will be better at the next level than Mendoza. When you look at where Simpson landed, he landed in a much better landing spot, having Sean McVay as his head coach. Then you also add in you're learning behind Matt Stafford, and you can sit behind Stafford for at least a couple years. There is a major question, though, in my opinion, which I don't think anyone else is bringing this up, is whether or not Sean McVay is going to coach for that many more years. I know in recent years there were questions about whether or not Sean McVay would continue coaching. I know he's still young in respect to other coaches in the league, but I'm not sure how much longer he's going to keep coaching. I had that same question about Steve Kerr recently, which I know that's a very different situation, but before the play-in tournament began in the NBA, I just had a gut feeling that that would be the last run for Steve Kerr as the head coach of the Golden State Warriors. And for some reason here, I think McVay only has a couple years left as the Rams head coach before he retires as a head coach. I don't know if many people would agree with me on that. It's just a gut feeling I have. We'll see how things work out there. McVay is a terrific coach. I think the best coach in the NFL. So that's a great landing spot for Ty Simpson. It seems like the Rams are following the same blueprint that the Green Bay Packers had in recent years, where the Packers had Brett Favre in the past, drafted Aaron Rodgers in the first round to let Brett Favre start for 3 years and Rodgers to learn behind him for 3 years. And then recently, the Packers did the same thing, had Aaron Rodgers as their starting quarterback. And then in 2020, they drafted Jordan Love to sit behind Rodgers for 3 years. And in those 3 years, Aaron Rodgers did win the MVP award in 2020 and 2021. You look at Matt Stafford, he did just win the MVP award recently. So this is not going to help the Rams in the current day. This is something to potentially be their quarterback of the future. We'll see how things work out. I do like Ty Simpson more than most, and I do think he can be a serviceable starter at the next level, and I do think he is better than Fernando Mendoza. I know a lot of people would disagree with me there, but I do think he can be better at the next level. I did not expect the Cardinals to draft Jeremiah Love. Love is a terrific player, and I think the most talented player in the draft, but you're drafting a running back to a team that's in a rebuild without a quarterback. It may not be the best move. As fun as Jeremiah Love is to watch and as talented as he is, I don't know if that was the best pick there for a team that's in a rebuild without a quarterback. Love's now in line to make $53 million over the next 4 years with a fifth-year team option. All rookie deals are guaranteed fully. So at the end of the day, he's now the highest paid running back in guaranteed money in NFL history, which is pretty crazy. Before he's played a day in the NFL, he's now the highest paid running back in NFL history in guaranteed money on a single deal. I do think Love is a terrific player. He's going to be really fun to watch and could potentially win Offensive Rookie of the Year. But I do think it's a tough landing spot considering they're in a rebuild there in Arizona and they're still trying to figure things out at the quarterback position. Now moving on to my winners of day one of the NFL draft. We'll start out with the New York Jets. They absolutely crushed day one of the NFL draft to land David Bailey, an edge rusher, and then tight end Kenyon Sadiq, and then wide receiver Omar Cooper Jr. That's a great first round. The Jets, first off, had 26 sacks last season, second lowest in the NFL, and a franchise low in a single season since 1999. So to address their pass rush at number 2 was a very important need for them. And then they add a dynamic tight end in Sadiq, who many people are high on for his elite speed. So whoever their quarterback is, they're now going to have another option at the tight end position. And then the same in Omar Cooper Jr., another option at the wide receiver position, who I think is going to be a stud in the NFL. That's a great start to a draft for a team that's in the midst of a rebuild. That was a great day one. I think they are the biggest winner of day one, mainly because they had 3 picks, but they also drafted 3 very good players with a lot of potential. I think that's the case with a lot of these players. They all have the potential to be great, and then all have the potential to struggle in the NFL and not live up to expectations. So we'll see how things work out. But after day one of the draft, based on where they got these guys and their potential, the Jets had a great start to the draft, and I'm sure Jets fans are excited to see what they do in day 2 and day 3. Now moving on to another winner of day one, and that's the New York Giants, the other team in New York City. Landing Reese at top 5 never seemed like a possibility. I don't know as much about Reese as I do for some of the other prospects, since I really never saw him being available there. I didn't do as much watching a film on him as I did Sonny Styles and Caleb Downs. But this is elite value at number 5 here for the Giants. This tells me that Kayvon Thibodeaux will be traded at some point, which may be the right move for the Giants since he is on an expiring contract, and they are pretty deep now at the edge position. The Giants have drafted an edge rusher in the top 5 in 3 out of the last 5 drafts now. In 2022, they drafted Kayvon Thibodeaux. In 2025, they drafted Abdul Qadir, and then in 2026, they drafted Arvell Reese. Adding Mawanoa as well is going to strengthen the offensive line, so they're obviously trying to win in the trenches. Mawanoa started for 3 years in college at right tackle. He did allow the lowest pressure rate among all FBS tackles in 2025. I believe he only allowed just 10 pressures last year as well in 2025, and only allowed 3 sacks between the 2024 and 2025 seasons combined. So there's a lot to like about that pick as well, and hopefully that offensive line is better next year for Jackson Dart, which it's been improved a lot the last couple seasons, and hopefully it gets even better next year. Number 3 as a winner is the Dallas Cowboys. Landing Caleb Downs at number 11 was an ideal result for Dallas. I wanted Sonny Styles or Downs at 5 or Mekhi Lemon at number 10. And somehow, someway, they all end up in the NFC East, with Styles going to Washington at 7, which was a home run pick for them. You got Downs going to Dallas at 11 to help aid their defense, and then Lemon goes to the Eagles at 20. Dallas's defense has been an issue for them the last few years, but now they land a top 4 talent in the draft at number 11. My top 4 players in the draft, which I didn't really have a big board heading into last night, but my top 4 players would have been Jeremiah Love, Sonny Styles, Caleb Downs, and Mekhi Lemon. The Cowboys end up getting Downs at number 11. And then to follow that up, Dallas took UCF edge rusher Malachi Lawrence at 23 to help address their pass rush issues. Don't know as much about Lawrence as I do some other prospects, but I love the Downs pick, and then Lawrence is definitely addressing an area of need. So the Cowboys are a winner from day 1 for me. Another winner of day 1 is the Philadelphia Eagles. They are likely to trade A.J. Brown at some point. It seems like a done deal to the Patriots in June. So to land a top wide receiver talent in Mekhi Lemon is an excellent move by them. They seem to always draft very well, so credit to Howie Roseman. And that is partly because they have so much talent to surround their draft picks with. They're always going to a good landing spot. Lemon is only 5'11", but plays a lot bigger than that, in my opinion, with his athleticism. The Eagles do need some more height at the receiver position if they do trade Brown, which I do expect them to address at some point. And then my last winner of day 1 is the Miami Dolphins. They added Alabama tackle Caden Proctor and then San Diego State cornerback Chris Johnson. They addressed the area of need for them, which was offensive line, and then also their secondary. Like I said last night, I did not expect them to draft a wide receiver, despite the desperate need there. I do think Chris Johnson is an underrated pick for them from last night. He seems like a game changer on film, elite speed, great instincts, and top ball skills. I'm excited to see what he does there for the Dolphins in the next few seasons. So now I'm going to shift over to what the Giants should do with the 37th overall pick in this year's draft. The best remaining player is Jermod McCoy out of Tennessee, so I would choose him if he's still available, but I am a fan of the Giants taking Emmanuel McNeil-Warren, Caleb Hood, or C.J. Allen. C.J. Allen is a great linebacker, an excellent tackler, and is going to be very good in run defense, which the Giants definitely could use. So that's where I would go here with the pick, is one of those guys I mentioned. There's a question about who could be the next quarterback taken. In my opinion, honestly, I don't think any quarterback should be taken in the second round. Potentially in the third round is where I'd maybe be willing to grab one if I'm a team that's interested in someone. Only 3 quarterbacks have gone in the second round in recent years. Because if a quarterback prospect is expected to be a starter in the NFL, they're usually taken in the first round. There's no value in taking them in the second round just to take them if they are a projected career backup or a below average starter. With that being said, no one knows how a prospect will pan out since injury luck, where they land, and their coaching staff will matter a lot. If I'm picking a quarterback in the third round, Sawyer Robertson would be my pick, quarterback out of Baylor. NFL-ready arm, really good in the pocket. I think he's being underrated, can scramble as well. Reminds me a little bit of Daniel Jones. He's not going to go in round 2 or round 3, likely in rounds 4 to 5, but I think he's the best quarterback remaining. It is my gem at the quarterback position. I think he has upside as a potential strong starter in the NFL. We'll see how things work out. He's definitely one of my 10 best players available heading into day 2, alongside cornerback Jermod McCoy out of Tennessee. There were injury concerns there with him, which caused him to fall, but he's worth rolling the dice on because of his exceptional talent level. Then safety Emmanuel McNeil-Warren out of Toledo. He could be a gem for any defense due to his athleticism and strong IQ. Then we got cornerback Colton Hood out of Tennessee. I was surprised McCoy and Hood did not go in round 1. Linebacker C.J. Allen out of Georgia. He's an excellent tackler, great in run stopping as well. I would love to see him, McCoy, Hood, or McNeil-Warren on the Giants. Then we got Caden McDonald out of Ohio State, great run stopper. Wide receiver Zachariah Branch out of Georgia, electrifying speed and big-time playmaking ability. I liked him a lot as a freshman at USC. He can be a strong kick returner in the NFL as well. Wide receiver Denzel Boston out of Washington is really talented. Didn't go in round 1, but is expected to go in round 2. Great ball skills, good body control. He's 6'3", so he has good builds for the NFL. Cornerback Avion Terrell out of Clemson. I expect to run on cornerbacks in round 2, so I expect Terrell to be one of the first few taken. Chase Pasantis, a guard out of Texas A&M. Did not go in round 1, but is likely to be selected in round 2. And then edge Cassius Howell, an edge rusher out of Texas A&M. Did not go in round 1, expected to go in round 2, was very productive last year at Texas A&M, and had a good career at Bowling Green at the start of his college career. I like him a lot. I think there's great value to drafting him now. And then the most underrated player in day 2 available, in my opinion, is quarterback Sawyer Robertson, like I said, out of Baylor. He's not going to go in round 2 or 3 probably. He's probably going to be a 5th-round pick. But last year in 2025, had 3,700 passing yards, which led the Big 12, 31 passing touchdowns, which also led the Big 12, had 12 interceptions, 307 passing yards per game. That led the Big 12, and 304 completions, which also led the Big 12 with a 60.3% completion percentage. Added in 3 rushing touchdowns in 2025. I like him a lot. He's probably not going to go until day 3, but he's one of the best players remaining, in my opinion. Anyways, that'll wrap up this episode. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to listen to this. As always, I appreciate it. I hope you guys have a great one, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Thank you.